Sci-values are really kind of the new frontier of energy efficiency. We've kind of taken U-value performance as far as we're going to take it.
What are psi values? So Andy, we talk about psi values. I have to say, when I'm doing presentations and I talk about psi values, I do tend to get quite a few glazed looks from architects, but we talk about psi values. So do you want to introduce psi values and what they are?
Yeah, so psi values are basically the additional linear heat loss through junctions. So when you're looking at the thermal performance of a wall, you're looking at the depth of insulation, and maybe if you're doing it well, you're looking at the correction factors for additional heat loss through fixings and repeating thermal bridges from timber studs and so on. But psi values are the additional heat loss that you get specifically around junctions at the corner of a building or a window aperture and so on. So what do we want to know about psi values?
Well, so I mean, psi value calculation is very specific. First of all, so we often get asked, have you got the psi values for your system? Well, we've got a million variants to the specifications we put together, but also the psi values are specific to a design. So if you move the position of the studs or the header plate or the sole plate or whatever sort of slight variation there is in a junction, that changes the heat loss through the junction, so it changes the psi value. Psi values are used within SAP to determine the overall heat loss of the building. So obviously you use U values to give you the bulk heat loss through the middle of each element. You add in the psi values to give you the overall heat loss. Interestingly, because wood fibre, because of the way we generally detail the wood fibre, we tend to have very, very low psi values. And so in SAP, certainly, we can actually target higher U values than you might if you're using PIR insulation, just because the detailing is so much better. So psi values, kind of good to know, need to be calculated for specific systems. Good to understand what they are, and good to try and work on heat loss through junctions to minimise the psi values. But yeah, mainly used in SAP and a good way to basically calculate the overall heat loss.
Yeah, I think there's two really important points really. One is in new builds, so super low energy, passive house or something. So in a new build construction, psi values are really kind of the new frontier of energy efficiency. We've kind of taken U-value performance as far as we're going to take it. There's not really much value in adding more and more insulation now, but psi values are certainly the place that we can look to improve the sort of additional heat loss. So in new build, it's really about optimizing how can we minimize the additional heat loss through those elements. In retrofit, it's perhaps less about how we can really minimize the heat loss in those elements, but more about moisture protection. If you insulated X amount of the wall, have you sufficiently insulated the sort of window detail to resist surface condensation and so on. So really those two elements, I think in retrofit specifically, we're looking at kind of moisture safety, and in new build it's kind of the new frontier really of energy efficiency.
Excellent.